Let's start with just a look at some of the small hail we had. Now, this is over in Wenatchee, but we do have a lot of folks who watch over from the Wenatchee area, and we had a little bit of hail there. I know we were flirting with some hail here locally as well, specifically yesterday, but we also had some across certain pockets. And if we go into tomorrow, notice the severe weather threat, or technically the severe weather threat stays in Montana, but this lighter green color is going to be thunderstorm potential. Today, that lighter green color went all the way to the coast. Tomorrow, it looks like it's just hovered in a couple locations, and that's because of the way the storm system is turning. All right. Right now, we've got some showers out there. Everything's turning more light. We do have one area near Olympia that's got some yellow to it, which would indicate some heavier rain. I should say moderate rainfall. And then Elma had some good classic showers pushing through. That's dying down, and just to the east of Shelton is where we're seeing that pocket right now. Now, further up towards the northwest interior, here's Mount Vernon here along I-5. We had a good chunk of heavier precipitation, but that is now dwindling as well, given the time of day. And a lot of this coming again from south to north. We still have some showers on the east side, technically around Seattle and Elliott Bay, but we do have more of that along I-90. Everything here is just some steady rain. Nothing too much to worry about in terms of lightning or thunder, but we still have pockets of it around. So the low pressure system is just slowly turning. And as it does so, this is why we have that, that thunderstorm threat on the north side of the state and then also down towards the south, because as this center moves its way to the east, a lot of the heavy precip and these isolated thunderstorms will start to just move away from the metro area specifically. So let's go into tonight. Okay, so here's the storm system we were just tracking. That'll continue to lift its way northward. We'll be watching that tonight. Nothing too terrible, but it'll work its way into Everett and Arlington as well. We go into tomorrow, things start to get a little interesting. This is 4 o'clock in the morning. San Juan's, you'll see a little bit of light rain, also up in Whatcom County. And then as we go into the afternoon, it kind of stays away from your heaviest metropolitan areas. We do have a lot of it that could be hovering around Olympia, coming in off the coast, and then also for you folks on the north coast near Port Angeles, Sequim, and Port Townsend. But everybody else, it's very, very isolated. So tomorrow won't be as active as today, but there will be pockets of showers and, of course, some thunder here and there. But Friday's going to be a day where we slowly see the storm system weaken, and it'll dramatically weaken as we go into your Saturday as well. So I think by Sunday, all this should technically push out of here. We'll still have a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures will be gradually warming up, though. We'll be right back into the 70s before you know it. And so far next week, it is looking like we are going to stay dry and relatively warm for the 4th.
We will take it. Jordan, thank you.